Any meeting to order. Christine Calarco.
Here.
Trish Kerr. Brian Muldrow.
Here.
Hans Pitcher.
Here.
Did I miss anybody? And myself. All right. Approved minutes from September 13th, 2022. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Second.
Was that you, Christine?
Yes.
Okay, we had a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appointments. Cayuga County Parks Commission is, want to talk about the appointment?
Joe DeForest is up for a reappointment. He's available he's eligible for one more term.
Reappointment.
He was reappointed back, I think, April, but missed the deadline to sign the book, so we have to reappoint.
So he's been on the Parks Commission
Yes.
before. Can I have a motion to accept the appointment of Joseph DeForest, rather, excuse me, for Parks Commission?
I'll move it.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Eric, go ahead.
Just a question
That
on,
was rhetorical. No, go ahead.
I thought we were starting to do these appointments by resolution. Is it a different type of appointment or?
That you have to ask Sheila and Amanda, and neither one of them are here, but that's a good point. I don't.
I believe they'll come at the end.
Yeah, I think it's at the main
full
meeting.
ledge.
Yeah.
Oh, with the full.
Full ledge
legislature.
meeting, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
That's a good point, though. I thought you're right. We talked about doing that by. Okay. So with that said, any further discussion? We'll see this at the full ledge is what we're hearing. In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Department updates. Kyle.
Start. Nothing to add to my written report.
Anybody have any questions for Kyle? Everything weights and means. Thank you very much. No resolutions in that group. We'll go to buildings and grounds, parks and trails. Harry, chuck it.
Well, I got parks and trails in there, not parks and trails anymore. That's that.
Well, you can do it if you want.
Anyway,
Well, that's a good point, though. We should make sure that whoever types these up corrects that, parks and trails.
anyway, you have my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Can you tell us about the air conditioning?
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing from Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, they have until Friday. They told me it'd be 1 to 2 weeks before they get the impeller. Once they have the impeller's being remachined, it's being basically modified. So they're gonna have to make other parts to fit with that impeller, okay? Until they get the impeller, they can't tell me for sure when they'll have the other parts. The impeller is supposed to be there by Friday. That's what they told me. So I'm gonna call them Friday and try to get an update. Once they have that in their hand, they'll be able to figure out what they need to machine to make the other parts.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Gary on that? Do we know when the next building meeting is for the county building?
Gary, you were gonna set up that meeting?
Yeah, I have, to be honest, I haven't had a chance to draft that spec, architect. It is near the top of my pile right now. Hopefully the next couple of days I'll have it, then I can make the appointment. And I'll send that spec out so people can look at it and we get it if they like.
Okay. You have one resolution?
Yes, I have one resolution.
I think we do that now, if you're all right while we're going through.
EW1 amending the 2022 county budget to allow the court tenant work to be completed in the courthouse and the historic post office for the cost to be 100% reimbursed in the state of New York. This is an annual resolution we do. Basically, the court picks out certain projects they want done and they present it to us. And once we do it, they pay us 100% reimbursement. In other words, they're special projects pertaining to the building. So it's basically it's budget neutral.
Okay.
Forward.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Do we know what the list of projects are? Or are they?
Yeah, they should be in the box. I did provide that to the clerk.
Okay.
So it should be in your,
In our mailbox, in our mail slots?
Dropbox.
Dropbox? Oh, the Dropbox, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
if it's not there, let me know and I'll send it again. I'll just send it to the legislators. I can do that.
okay. Anybody have any questions?
I guess I have a question. Gary, are the courts expanding in that space? Are they just doing modifications or
Are they, I'm sorry. I couldn't-
are they expanding those?
No, they're not expanding at this time, no. No,
Okay,
this is modifying the space they're currently in.
okay,
Right now, the latest as far as expanding city court was looking at moving into WIC, but they subsequently told us it won't be for a couple of years. So
okay,
right now they're not.
okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
I,
Aye. Moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doug, Parks.
I guess Gary's not gonna do mine, so.
Yeah, and if we could make the correction for the meeting and take Parks and Trails off of that.
thank you.
Brittany's already got it down.
Thank you.
So we talked about the appointment. I'm sure you had an opportunity to look at the Parks and Trails update, which includes the work going on at Emerson Park, Museum, and also at the Sterling Nature Center, a couple updates on those, and also the trails. We're installing a bridge on Cato Fairhaven Trail on Thursday. That's the third in a series of 3 bridges that runs all the way from Ditmar Road all the way up to the village of Cato. So Gary spent a long time working on that. All the permitting in that for almost a decade to try to get that project started. We put one in 18. We put one in last year, and this is the last link in that section. All of the neighbors down there have been really supportive of putting it in, and obviously the help of the snowmobile clubs and the usage of it will be immediately available to them. And Soil and Water Conservation just helped us do a lot of that work. They had a really tight schedule on the past couple of weeks, so we appreciate their help putting those in as they are. It's nice to get that project completed. Up at the Sterling Nature Center, a lot of the outdoor work is continuing. Will continue all the way into the beginning of December. That includes a lot of the amenities that are outside of that space now, the outdoor classroom. There's a picnic shelter that's going up there, as well as a pergola and a lot of the hardscape. The concrete was being poured last week. So we're on target to get all the outdoor work that we can done before December, and then the frame arrives for the actual structure in the first week of March is the first opportunity. Earlier if the weather cooperated, but that's kind of how we have it slated right now. So we're going to continue forward, obviously, with that construction project. Any questions on those areas, those 3 areas, or anything else in the parks and trails?
Anyway, I have a question on the Sterling Nature Center.
Yeah.
So you said the framing's coming in March.
Yeah.
You get some, how's that stuff going to be stored if it's open?
They want to bring that, they don't want to bring the structure until they can skin it. So they want to bring it, put it up and skin it. It's not going to get stored. It's going to come and get put up at that point. In fact, they're doing the finishing and the staining there. It was going to be done on site, but it's all going to be done in their shop before it even leaves. So when it comes, it goes up.
Okay.
Jim, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I got the grant for the Deauville. We keep thinking it's gonna come in each month. You heard anything at all?
No, I mean, Steve and I have always contended, we thought we probably would hear before election day, but it will probably be very close to before election day if I had to guess. So within the next 4 weeks,
Okay,
possibly right up to election day. And that's just an estimate, like we said before. It usually was released in the first week of December, but I think because the election will be before.
okay.
So we're
Thanks, Doug.
hopeful.
All right, thank you.
Yep. I've got a couple resolutions on there too, John.
Sure. Is anybody, before you go, does anybody else have any questions for Doug? He's got 3 resolutions. We'll go through those.
Yep. PW3 is authorization to fill a part-time cleaner position. This one and the next one, the part-time cleaner, I hope they're in order. Did I say 4? Or not? So 3 and 5 are part-time positions that we created in the budget this year, knowing that we were splitting the department from buildings and grounds. So the cleaner position and the building maintenance mechanic position were created when the departments were split last year. We planned for that, budgeted for them. we had to do a transfer of function. It took a while to get those transferred and create the department. That happened through the spring. And then July and August, we kind of lose a lot of time because we're out doing a lot of the other programming that happens. So this is the first opportunity we've had to put them together and transition those positions. So we want to bring those positions into part-time. Both of those positions have been filled by the same individuals for over 15 years, in which case we have been putting them on and off of seasonal payroll every year to a significant cost to the county. And as those individuals we know are going to retire at some point in the near future, we think we'll have a better opportunity of filling those and having that staff available to us year round to fulfill those functions would be very beneficial. We're doing more year round. We have more equipment to maintain. And we've been using these seasonal positions from May all the way to December. So it's a pretty long season. And as I said, they're budgeted for this year, the money's already in the budget for them. We haven't obviously expended it because they haven't been put in the positions yet. But they are positions we're currently using. We're trying to look to the future to keep these positions filled in the future. I have 2 building maintenance mechanic seasonal positions, and we've never filled the other one. It's been in quite a while, in many years, since I've been there. So it's been difficult to keep that position filled. And my concern is when this individual retires, we'll have the same void. So they're part-time positions, they're not benefited, and they're budgeted through at the rate that civil services filled in on the ATF forms. I mean, this one specifically, PW3 is for a part-time cleaner position.
Any questions? Did I hear you say that you had one person that was retiring and you're creating, and there's 2 created?
For these part-time positions, I'm forecasting I'm going to lose at least one of them to retirement in the next couple of years. There is PW4 is directly for retirement. PW4 is a retirement authorization to fill a retirement that we currently have in a full-time position. 3 and 5 are 2 part-time positions that are in the budget but are unfilled right now.
You want to take them one at a time, or do you want to 2, 3, and 5? What's the matter, Brian? Speak up.
No, I
Place.
made a little error on myself, so it had nothing to do with you, Doug.
Oh, okay. All right.
Me.
Can I have a motion? We'll just do them one at a time. Take real quick. PW3 for the cleaner. Can I have a motion to,
I'll move it. Second.
any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
So move. PW5 for the part-time, was it mechanic?
Building maintenance mechanic.
Building maintenance mechanic. Can I have a motion for that?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Thank you, ladies. Yep, go ahead.
I guess I just want to appreciate the process here, that you've planned for this, you've budgeted for it, you've gone through the work to create it, to get the work with civil service, and here we are. So thank you for your work on it. And it's a budgeted position. So my feeling on those for the most part is that you have my support.
Thanks.
Thank you, Trish. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. PW4.
PW4 is authorization to fill due to a retirement. So we have a working 4-person position that will become available on November 1st. The information on the position is contained in here. And we're asking to refill that position that's obviously budgeted because it's filled right now.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? One quick question on that is the fill on this, or the replacement, is it the same grade level, different grade level than the person that's retiring? Skill levels, I don't.
It's the grade.
I see what's on here, but with the person that's, we just had something where we hired a senior typist or something, and it was actually a change in position and a grade level up. Is this?
It hasn't changed from what it's currently listed at right now.
So that's just the person that's retiring, the person that's being hired is going to be at the same grade.
I don't know who we're hiring, but it will be in at the same grade. Yeah.
Okay. just for point of record. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So move. Thank you, Doug. Thanks. Let's get to Mr. Soper, Highway.
I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
How's the salt barn?
Complete. Start filling it. We ordered today, so
Good.
I'll start shipping
Good.
tomorrow.
I noticed there was no lights in it.
You stopped by and checked it out yet?
I saw it from the road, a glimpse of it.
I
I
don't
like
think, I don't think it really needs lights, does it?
Okay. I don't know. I saw the photos. If you haven't seen it, it's massive. You can park your canoe in there.
Is the fuel farm finished?
No, we have not even started on the fuel. We're still waiting on components to be shipped. Everything's, back order.
Is there a projected completion date?
There's a projected start date of 2 weeks,
Okay, thank you.
but that's moved 3 or 4 times now, so it was supposed to be mid-September.
Thank you.
So the good news has been ordered, it's placed.
It's all
Just
ordered.
waiting for
Yep, just waiting
parts.
for the components, yeah.
Okay.
They're lacking a few pieces.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Brian? No one's curious to ask about the plow contracts.
I was gonna.
Come on. I don't want to ask all the
So the
questions.
numbers are as they set right now. We got 16 fully executed contracts, 5 partially executed contracts, 3 that have had no contact with us, and 1 town that voted no.
Okay,
So I would say we have 4 towns right now we're waiting on.
And this is for a contract for a year.
Yes. Yep, it's the 12-month contract. Yep.
So Brian, Jim, can I ask a question?
Sure. You're
What happens if they don't sign, Brian? Do we have to cover,
Yeah, we'll plow.
okay, how many extra miles, do you know?
Depends on who signs and who doesn't.
I mean, if these 4 don't sign, do you have any idea?
We know they have till what, midnight tonight? And it's an electronic.
Actually, we've had
signature.
quite a few that have reached out to us and want an extra day or 2 to get through their meetings. So that could be what we're waiting on. Roughly 60 miles.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Brian has 1 resolution. Any opposed? So moved. Anybody have anything else? Committee? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion.
Wow.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much. You need straightening out?
Bye.
You are good. You're good.
Also, read them.
Okay, we'll start with the roll call. James Basile,
Read them again.
Here,
Christina Clarko,
Here.
Lydia Feeney, she's online, I believe.
Yep.
Robert Shea.
Here.
Mark Strong.
here.
Okay, I want to approve the minutes, September 13th.
Move it. Second it, Mark.
There is,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussions?
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. No appointments. And Steve, if you want to come up with economic development.
Thank you. In addition to, I don't have any resolution tonight, but as I'll explain, I do have a walk-on resolution after talking to Legislator Muldrow and Legislator Basile. And I'll get to that in a moment. I did want to give one additional update in addition to the updates I provided in my committee report. With the help of Cornell Cooperative Extension, we did hold the electronics event. So the outcomes are 548 total registered, 129 people attended. That's about 80% of the people that registered. The unregistered people that attended anyway were about 21. And so we served about 450 residents. And it was a very successful event. Let me just move quickly and hand this out to everybody. This is an update. I'll talk loud. This is an update on, you might have read in the paper about regional dredging on Lake Ontario shoreline, a regional dredging council. And I just wanted to update the legislators about the regional dredging council, because if we continue to participate with this regional dredging council, I did want to write. It'll require some funding commitment by the county in 2023 and going forward. And I won't read this whole thing, and Sarah, I'll get one to you. But essentially, I'll say real quickly, all of the federal harbors and bays along the Lake Ontario southern shoreline, dredging for them is a responsibility of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Suffice it to say that pretty much in the last couple of decades, they haven't had the staffing and the resources to dredge those when they need to be dredged and to keep them clear so people can access the harbors off the Lake Ontario. Because of that, in 2011, Orleans County, which has a number of bays, federal channels, started to reach out to the other counties around them, including Cayuga County, to try to develop a regional coalition of counties that would address the dredging themselves. They worked on getting some grant funds, and with those grant funds created a regional dredging management plan, which they worked on from 2012 to 2014, and it was sort of adopted in 2014. That regional plan, the objective is to have people work collaboratively together, put money into a pot, based on how big your channels are, how often they have to be dredged, and then centralizing the management of the dredging on behalf of the counties, by the counties participating. They prepared that plan. They got cost estimates at the time, and we're about to move forward, go into 2017 and 2019, the flooding up on Lake Ontario. The state put ready funds out there, Resiliency and Economic Development Initiative funds, and the state went ahead and dredged the channels from Niagara County in the west all the way up to St. Lawrence County in the east, and got all the permits, did all the dredging, and so forth. They finished that work. They put quite a bit of money, state money, into it, but it was a one-time state effort to do that. They have since handed off, so to speak, the whole archive of materials of that program to Orleans County. I went over to Orleans County a couple of weeks ago and represented the county at that meeting. And but what they handed off they didn't hand off money, unfortunately, but they did hand off all of the archaeology, all of the environmental reports, all of the open dredging permits. I think Little Soda Spade, the channel, I think the permit is good till 2025 that they gave us. And they're working to update the numbers that they had in 2019, you know, looking at the volume of each channel, how often it has to be dredged, with the idea that each county would put a little money into the pot every year and they would start the dredging, and it was your time to be dredged, you would be dredged. It would also allow private entities to contract with the group if they had a marina or something else that they want to dredge that wasn't a federal channel, they could figure it out and, you know, get that. It's the economy of scale that makes it possible. So they're working on getting new numbers. The reason they're getting new numbers is they want to present it to the counties while they're working on next year's budgets so that they could look at what it costs. When they did the numbers in 2019, projecting what it would cost to do in 2020, it was $18,200 a year for Cayuga County to participate in this. The idea is that by participating collectively with a centralized management by one county, with the decisions made by the counties that are part of the Regional Dredging Council, that the counties could get the dredging done that they need to be done for less money and less work than if they went by themselves and tried to dredge. Now, clearly you can argue that it's the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Let's jump up and down and try to get the federal government to do it. People have been doing that for 2 decades, and it's just not going to really happen. So the counties have tried to take matters into their own hands. So the sheet that I handed out to you, I can certainly circulate to the full legislature, but I wanted to share it with you this evening. Mr. Muldrow, if I can I address the walk-on resolution? Okay, I'm gonna walk around again. Here we go. That would be great, Jim. Thank you.
Get you a copy of that other piece.
Thanks, Steve. All right, so in June, when when the planning department submitted resolutions authorizing submission of CFA grants, one of those grants was the Fairhaven Sterling Community Connections Trail. And you might recall that the legislature approved using 22,000 and change in ARPA funds as the required matching funds. That goes together with $12,500 in county staff time to manage the project. That's if we get the grant. So that was already approved. We put the application in, they're reviewing it, and we recently got thank you, Jim. We recently got correspondence from the state, meaning over the weekend, that the ARPA funds are not an eligible source of the match. So we talked about it this morning, and I talked with Jim about it, and I talked with Brian before the meeting. This resolution that we just handed out is simply an amendment of the resolution you approved in June, basically saying instead of using the ARPA funds, if we get the grant, we'll use general funds. The ARPA funds go back into the pot for whatever the county needs. And if we get the grant, they're probably going to announce grants in November. We could use the ARPA funds. The reason I'm walking this on tonight is they're reviewing the grants now and they want to know, do you have a bona fide match? So it's really just switching out the ARPA funds that were approved for future general funds if the grant goes through. So sorry about that. Sometimes these things happen when you're putting multiple grants together. We thought it was eligible funds. We're very happy that the legislature supported the original allocation of ARPA funds, but we need to change it out for grant funds.
We need a vote on it.
Well, I'll move it so we can discuss.
Yeah,
I'll second.
any discussions?
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman. Go ahead.
Right, right.
I'm glad.
Hey, Steve, this is, I take it, this is evenly divided by quarters because of the 4 counties?
This amendment we're talking, well,
The
the
cost.
dredging is a different, I've moved on from the dredging, but the dredging would be shared proportionately to how much it costs to dredge your channel.
Okay.
Somebody
what I
that has
thought.
to get dredged every year will pay a different amount. Somebody that has a really, really big channel to dredge would pay a different amount.
Okay.
So that's all estimated.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
That's what.
Christina, you got questions?
I had a thought, and Jim, you can maybe help back me up on this, is if we said yes to this and that ARPA funds goes back in, that is in our general, we can do whatever we want with the ARPA funds. So couldn't we just then transfer back to our fund balance? What we said?
Yeah, if we can back up our fund balance with the ARPA funds money. So it's just
So on paper, we're doing the
on
correct
paper, it
thing.
has to come out of. And as Steve said, we didn't know, nobody knew that. We figured it fell under parks and trails type thing. So we would, we decide, depending on how much we decide to put it back into the general fund.
We
For
can take
losses
that
for
into account
COVID.
for our losses.
Yeah, it could roll over that way.
Any other additional
I think
discussion?
Trish behind you had a question.
I did have a question. I was just curious. I can't remember the details of this project. Can you just give a quick overview?
Sure. It's a feasibility study. I have the original resolution here. I didn't want to hand out too many things to you tonight, but I do if anybody wants it. The total project cost is $138,410. That includes $103,800 and change for the grant funds. And the total matching funds is $34,600, and that comes from $12,500 in planning department staff time managing the project, and $22,000 in ARPA funds or general funds. The project is to plan all the right-of-ways and the materials and get it ready for capital improvements. The community connection trail, which goes from West Barrier Beach all the way down into the village, and then through the village, it will be able to connect to the trails that go up to the state
Park
park
and I think the Sterling Nature Center also.
and the Sterling Nature Center. And that in turn, when the bridge goes in over on the Cato Brutus Trail tomorrow, I hope. That'll make even a 25-mile connection from.
Yeah, that trail kind of dead ends in Fairhaven.
Yeah.
And then it stops.
So that's
So that
basically it.
takes people east and west when they get there to connect the connection trail. And that also connects to the Seaway Trail, and there's a couple of other trails up right there, but it just stops.
Right.
So,
It's great. Great project.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. So I want to be clear, is this just to do the study survey, or is this to actually do the project?
This is to do the feasibility study for the project. So a consultant will be hired to define the location of the trail, work through all the right-of-ways across properties and things like that the trail would cross, what it would be constructed, do all the cost estimates for the construction and so on. So it's really
It's just a feasibility study,
capital.
like a preliminary engineering study.
Yeah,
$130,000.
it's a great way to put it.
Now, the 130 grand isn't out of our pocket.
No, but I'm just saying for the whole feasibility study, 130 grand, I think about 22,000 out of our pocket.
22.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe for discussion.
Any more discussions? Sorry, thanks, Christina.
Gotcha.
Frank, if I may.
Yeah.
The only amendments that I would change or additions to this would be it's coming out of the fund, so it'd be a 2/3 would have to be added to the title, and then number 2 of the resolved would be say finance department, not finance director, so that the finance department can make these changes.
So are you ready for a vote?
Amendments.
Yeah, we gotta vote on the amendment. Yeah.
We vote on the amendments. I know what this guy's.
Yes.
Through this.
So I move the amendments as stated.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Now we're gonna vote on the resolution.
Now we vote on the rest.
okay,
As
As
amended.
amended.
As
As
amended.
amended.
all right, you know this. You
All
know.
right, you're doing well. You're doing great. Don't worry about it.
All right, let's vote on the resolution,
As amended.
the amendment.
So moved.
No, we already moved it.
We are all in favor? Okay. All right,
So call all in favor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Good job.
All
Good.
right. Round of applause for. All
Thank you.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Next. Okay. Dan? Come on. Get over yourself.
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. A few things to highlight in a couple additions to the report. One thing is our starting tomorrow, I have a new ag educator coming on board, Francis Clark, who's going to work on issues around ag and environmental sustainability. Working closely with our partners at the Soil and Water Conservation District. Francis has a degree in soil science from Ohio State University, master's degree in soil science from Ohio State University. So we're happy that he'll be joining the team and providing more resources for our farmers as they try to both be environmentally sustainable and economically viable. You probably see my 4-H shirt on. We're at the sort of first couple weeks in October, end up being 4-H week. Gets extended a little bit from when they put out the dates nationally. But we held open house recruitment event at Tractor Supply on October 1st. And then along with that, until I think there's one more day of the Paper Clover campaign, which is a checkout program that folks can add $1 or $2 to their purchase. And the money, especially here from the Auburn store, goes directly to cooperative extension of Cayuga County to help pay for trips and camps and leadership events for 4-H youth. And Tractor Supply does that nationally in partnership with the National 4-H Council. Another thing that came to my attention at a meeting last week that I just wanted to reinforce. Many of you may have seen some of the press coming out of New York City and Hudson Valley about stomping on
All the lanterns.
the spotted lanternfly or swatting them or squishing them. Right now in Cayuga County, I ask you not to do that. And the reason for that is because we haven't had a identification yet. Inspectors from ag markets would really like to come out and see if you do find one. So you can call me, I'll get in touch with the right people in ag markets. And again, that's to kind of tell the difference between, we had one or two that just got lost separated from their friends. They're not gonna hang around versus having an established population that's gonna overwinter and start breeding, which would be a major issue, especially for our grape growers and wineries. They do a real number on the grapes. So don't squish them yet. Just report it if you see it. And then the final thing is our annual meeting is going to be October 27th at Taste New York Center. I believe in the agenda it said 5:30, but it's actually going to be 6:30 p.m. And the statewide director of cooperative extension, Dr. Christopher Watkins, is going to be our speaker. So that's all I have for tonight.
Kelly.
Good evening, everybody. Last month I talked a little bit about how it was National Workforce Development Professionals Month. So what we decided to do, we spent the month really getting out into the community and talking about our services and programs and what we have to offer. My staff had gone to various employers in the community and, just kind of talked about what we have and also that we are planning an open house. It's our first open house. We've been open since 2003. We had an open house in 2003. That was the year I started at Cayuga Works. I'll pass these over here too. You guys. So in 2003, we had the ribbon cutting of the Cayuga Works Career Center. Prior to that, employment and training and the New York State Department of Labor were separate entities. And then we merged in 2003. We haven't done any kind of events since then. And we really wanted to invite the community in and businesses in and job seekers in and give us a chance to kind of say, welcome again, here we are. This is how we really emerged and what we're doing before we move eventually to the new building, and we'll do it all over again. So that being said, I hope that everybody's able to attend. It's 2 to 6 on a week from tomorrow on the 19th. We've hosted job fairs and all sorts of things at our center, and it's kind of like if you feed them, they will come. And so our thought here is if we have prizes, maybe people will come. So when we were out networking and talking to employers, a lot of the community agencies donated door prizes to us. And so a couple of them, one of our bigger ones is we have something from Mackenzie Childs. We have a 3-month adult Y membership. So it sounds like bribery. Come to our open house and you might win something. But honestly, it's a great way to entice people to come in and then they learn something. And it's fun. So we're doing a fall theme, kind of like a trick or treat, grab some candy. This is what we are. This is who we are. This is what we do. I think it's important. I always say employment and training is a hidden gem in the community, in the county. And so I encourage everybody to stop in and grab a treat and see what we are and what we do.
I have a question. Do you want high school students to attend this?
Yeah, so we have invited every high school in Cayuga County. Auburn enlarged has actually invited all of the counselors and guidance counselors for us on our behalf. Yes, we're going to have a youth table. We're going to have an adult table, general career services table. Absolutely, high school students. One of the BOCES teacher reached out to me and she said, well, why are you doing it from 2 to 6? If you did it during the day, we could have brought our students. I didn't know with busing and staffing how that, and that's a great way to do it the next time. Maybe we'll just do a youth one. But we thought this will allow parents to come. So yes, that's great. We attended BOCES open house and we had a table there last week and that went through 7:30 and the kids came during the day and then parents came in the evening and learned about our adult programs that we also have. So that was very successful and I hope that ours is as successful as that one was. So we're excited about it. And then again, when we move, we'll do it again. a quick update that I have on our move. I talked with Dr. Durant last week. We've been talking about the move to the Workforce Development Center since, I want to say, 2017, maybe, is that right? 2017, we've been talking about it. And every year we think it's going to happen, and it's been long anticipated. He did give me an update that they have secured the funds to move forward with the building. And it looks like the work will go out to bid in January. So however long after that it takes, but we will be working closely with Dr. Durant moving forward on the logistics and how we all fit into the building, because it will be Cornell Cooperative Extension, Cayuga Works Career Center, and the workforce development component of CCC all together in one building instead of kind of separate at the community college. It's kind of an offshoot of the campus itself. So I'll have more to update. Dr. Durant plans to do an update with you, Chairman Gould, and plans to meet with me in the near future because we have lease negotiations for our current space to deal with right now as well. So that's exciting because they do have the funds to move forward. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. All right.
Miller from Steve.
I got a question, one question.
Yep.
The board is filled now, right? I appreciate you doing that. That took a lot of
The workforce development.
ingenuity to fill that board, but is it full now?
So we did lose one of the Cayuga County members. John Kennedy from Loretto took a new position, so I am still trying to fill his seat as an employer business. We have not had a meeting since the appointees have been on the board. There was not a September meeting where budgets were supposed to be voted on and passed, so I'm still trying to figure out what's happening there. But at this point, we can still add Cayuga County membership, and I want to at least fulfill John's spot. But definitely more Cayuga representation than we've ever had.
Good.
So, yes, thank
Let me
you.
know if I can help you with this meeting. It should have been done.
Yes. Thank
We
you.
know why.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
You know,
Jim has one.
No, my question.
I know your question. So Department of Labor, actually, the business, do you want to ask your question? I
No,
apologize.
that was beautiful.
Okay. The Department of Labor is seeing one customer still a day. They're doing workshops though in person with limited seating, and then we're going to bring job fairs back in person in December. So it's a slow process, but we are moving in the right direction.
I won. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Mike Miller from Ccida.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if it is in your printed packets or not, but the supplemental materials mentioned in the agenda and the copy I have to here to have made it. That being said, I will reach out to our team here to help get you that material for that. Starting with our existing businesses assisted so far this year through the end of September is 50. Our goal for the year is 80. So we feel we are on track to exceed that goal by year end itself. The number of entrepreneurs we've assisted thus far is 39. Our goal is 65 through the end of the year. We feel this is also going to be met or exceeded from that point there. Some other metrics I'd like to note for anyone present here is our year-to-date private investment that we've been tracking is just over 17 million. Our goal for the year was 18. And in addition to that, a large chunk was incentives and loans. Our goal for the year was 3 million, and we're currently tracking at 6.2 million for the year. As said, I will look to ensure you get all of these supplemental metric data points following this meeting here. Some other updates is Park Grove LLC and Auburn Memorial Hospital have been approved by the Ccida to proceed with the Oncology and Radiation Center. The completion of this agreement is nearing its end, with construction expected to begin in 2023. This is a $14 million investment project just down the street from here. We at Ccida are having continuing conversations with CMI considering their expansion project in the Aurelius Industrial Park. As mentioned at the last meeting and going forward with this expansion, we at CCIDA will be looking for new property to purchase and build out new infrastructure for shovel-ready sites. We do have, if members here are not aware, several inquiries every single month from our partners at Empire State Development, of inquiries from clients all over the nation and world looking to invest in our area. So developing sites for these potential projects will be really critical for our long-term success in this county in particular. So that being said, Maureen Reeser and I will be presenting at the New York Farm Bureau tomorrow evening. This is at their annual meeting and dinner event. And she and I will also be attending the IDA Academy at the beginning of November. Some of the activity we've been sourcing within our office is this program called Grow New York, which services and looks to assist entrepreneurs and new businesses in very fascinating ways of developing the farm industry in particular. So it's really unique processes. We've been contacted by several companies in the last couple of weeks here. A winner should be selected by the end of November, but in the meantime, they've been looking at opportunities to work within Cayuga County, considering our agricultural presence. So lots of opportunity from that. Hopefully some more updates as November and December come forward. The very last item I have here is we're continuing to work with our partners, both with the county as well as some of the legislators present here on this grant program for small business assistance. And there will be a presentation specifically by Maureen on this over the next week or so here. That's everything I have for this evening. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
You mentioned that the oncology construction expected to begin in 2023. Did that already go out for bid?
At this point, they're still finalizing the entire agreement. So that's part of our meeting next week on the CCIDA is to approve the project as part of the closing process there. The developer is already set to work with the hospital on this project, and I believe they have everything put together to move forward on that. We are not directly involved in their bidding.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Mike. Talk to you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen? All right. Doug, so on.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody's doing well on a great day. For us, you guys got the report. A couple things we're trying to finish up. Cover crops are going to start going in pretty heavy right now. A lot of the corn came off. Still some to be done with some wetter fields, but for the most part, cover crops, get that stuff under cover coming into winter so the soil's not exposed. We got about 300 acres in. When I submitted the report, we got about 14,000 planned for this fall to go in. And the weather, we'll see what Thursday is going to do. Of course, that's the bridge day that everybody's heard about. The day the bridge is going to get delivered, 72 footer up on the section of trail, has to be the rainiest day in months. So 1.5 inches of rain's forecast, but we'll get it in. It's coming all the way from Georgia, so we'll be ready for it. And some of the other stuff we're working on, ADC, the weed harvesting, we actually pulled boats from the water. Everything's done. We helped out up on Cross Lake. They've been inundated over the last several years with water chestnuts that come drifting down the canals and then up in there. And we heard a lot of feedback over the years to help them out or do something for them. So we went in, probably removed about 1 million pounds worth of weeds. We're still tabulating all the results. We've moved, I think, almost 70 loads of weeds, which is about 10 tons per load in about 5 days. It was nonstop.
Where do you take that?
There was a farm nearby. Oregon Farms had a field probably 2 miles down the road. The town of Elbridge actually supplied 2 trucks to come, and we just offloaded to them and just kept cranking, getting weeds off. It was about as busy as our guys could move. Yeah, it was pretty cool to watch, actually. Stop by, check them out. So that's done. Boats in production. Thanks for facilitating contracts and the funding. We got the got those on order. And then one of the other big things on the report was the grant funding that we received. We just found out from CRF that we got about $800,000 of state funds to continue some of the work that we're doing for the soil health and minimum tillage work. We're still waiting to hear back on some of our Ag Now point source grants that we submitted. But we're kind of cautiously optimistic that we should get a couple of those too. But my understanding is they'll be announced in the next couple of weeks. So that's always good. Funding coming in. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Right, I got one. Just the weed harvester has been ordered, so it's to specs. Will it be in next spring?
Should be. All signs pointing to that. Yep, it's under construction right now,
Great.
actually, so that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Great minds think alike. So that was my question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Call.
Last but not least. You've got my report, just some very high level ones that I'll point out. Claire and I have been attending several conferences lately. Claire attended the C conference up in Canada, as well as the Canals of New York and Rochester just a couple of weekends ago. Great reception and participation. We will both be attending the New York State Tourism Industry Alliance Conference late October in New York City, and I will be staying past that for the New York International Travel Show. We're attending that one as a regional participation, but it will allow us to highlight the Cayuga County content, especially with the Inns of Aurora as a #1 New York State hotel right now. There's a great possibility in having a kind of like an auction contest activity getting around that, so that'll be fun. The other big thing I wanted to point out, I'll keep it short and sweet today, is our website has recently been updated with a content called Recite Me. It is designed for accessibility, so anybody with any visual or audio impairments can adapt the website to whatever their needs are. They can change the colors, they can change the color of the text, they can increase the font size, so they can manipulate our website to ensure that they're able to engage with the content as they need to. These are one of the many projects that we'd like to get going to ensure that our commitment to diversity, inclusion, and equity extends all the needs of our potential visitors. Any questions?
Right.
Wanted to thank Karen for the meeting that she had up in District 1 a week ago.
Yep.
It was like a committee meeting or something.
Yep, our monthly board meeting.
Monthly board meeting was held up there. It was interesting. I attended. Thank you for having it up there.
It was fun. Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah, I want to thank you for inviting the Harry Tubman family last week or 2 weeks ago. I think they enjoyed it very much.
I think they enjoyed it very much. They were very grateful to.
They were
be
great
here
ladies. So thank you again.
And be recognized. We have, and hopefully will be arriving this week, New York State also did a proclamation for the Underground Railroad Month. So I'll be able to provide that to the descendants along with the proclamation of the county.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
So moved.
All right. He's on top of it today. He's
All
wired.
in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
I think I heard Jim say that.
You did good, Brian.